Hi, blessed day. I am Alisa May M. Sajili, and today I'll be discussing a portion of provision from CMO 3-2022, specifically the section 2, 10, 11, 12, 18, and will end with penalties, violation, and compliance. So let's start with section 2.1, which is the general consideration. To begin with, this section explains that the Bureau of Customs is in charge of supervising all customs-bonded warehouse to make sure everything is properly approved, monitored, and compliant with customs law. So first, when goods are arrived to CBWs, they must first undergo a mandatory non-intrusive inspection. However, if the goods is under an alert order, then the district collector may allow inspection directly inside the CBW, either physical or non-intrusive examination. Furthermore, for storage, goods can stay in CBW for at least 1 year. However, para naman sa perishable goods, it can only last for 3 months, but it can be extended for another 3 months with valid reasons and or written requests. But for CCBWs, the 1 year period storage should start when the goods arrive at the mother warehouse. In addition, all importation must match the warehouse license, including the approved raw materials or by its HS code and their allowed quantity. So, any unauthorized or any excess goods shall be subject to duties and taxes. Meanwhile, importation of finished goods are not allowed unless ang kadtong goods kay gamito naman siya for as a component para mag-produce na pod og another finished good. Meanwhile naman for local sales, only 30% of the raw materials may be withdrawn for local sales and dapat under siya sa approval sa district collector and dapat nakapay na og duties and taxes. However, ang kanina threshold limit kay dili siya mag-apply sa private customs bonded warehouse. Now, in case of subcontracting, pwede i-withdraw sa members ang kadtong commodities or goods without paying duties and taxes, but only if they lack facilities and dili nila ma-meet ang demand, ang re-exportation demand. So, i-allow lang ni siya under the approval of the district collector and must follow these rules, which is first, the one who will ang dapat mag-work ani na is accredited subcontractor, and the job must be done be clearly specified. For garments, only pre-cut or cut-to-pattern materials are allowed, and it should be subject to GTIDO approval. And afterwards, all the finished product and wastages must be returned to the CBW for inspection. And lastly, industry-specific CBWs are not allowed to import fibers, yarns, fabrics, and accessories intended for garment manufacturing. Now, moving on to section 2.2. So this section focuses on CCBWs and their accredited members. So to start, a CCBW operator can only be accredited with one CCBW known as the mother warehouse. And also, both the mother warehouse and the accredited member kay dapat mag-keep sila complete financial and inventory records for the purpose of inspection And dapat i-ensure nila ang physical security of the imported materials against theft, fire, or floods. In addition naman, when a mission order is issued by the district collector or sa commissioner, ang authorized customs personnel kay dapat hatagan siya immediate access to inspect the CCBW or ang business premises. Now, all goods naman na mag-transfer to CCBWs kay dapat mag-pass through sila sa CCBW operator for proper documentation. And also, unless permission is granted by district collector for direct transfer. So it is murag applicable lang siya namang ingana na if maghatag og special permission ang district collector. Moreover naman, the CCBW is the one responsible for liquidating all the raw materials imported sa iyahang mga members. And if ang accredited member he becomes or she becomes inactive for a year, like wala siya import or export activity, then ang iyahang accreditation kay makancel. Although he or she may reapply later. Also, it is important to note that a member cannot transfer to another CCBW if ang purpose niya is mag-avoid sa re-exportation deadline. Kasi diba we all know that the goods has a 1 year storage period upon its arrival to the mother warehouse. So within that period, dapat ma-export na niya ang goods. So if the member transfer niya ang membership for the purpose na ma-avoid tong re-exportation deadline, then that is very prohibited. And additionally, when the members transfer or sell bonded goods within the same CCBW, kay dili ma-reset ang kadtong storage period. So, and that ang kadtong original time period niya kay mag-remain lang to siya. And furthermore, a member may sell semi-finished or finished goods to another member without paying duties or taxes, but only if ang katong buyer kay gamiton to niya na goods for the purpose of using it as a component para ma-finish as a component for producing another finished product. And that after that, ang katong goods is for re-exportation. So also the CCBW for monitoring purposes, the new CCBW kay dapat mag-file sila WSAD to replace the old import entries. However, once ang goods kay na-transferred na siya or na-sold na siya sa another member, then the goods cannot be resold again to yet another member. All sales or transfer must be approved by the district collector. Finally, both the CCBW operator and the receiving member are both sila responsible for the proper liquidating of WSAD. So to wrap up, Section 2.1 and Section 2.2 highlight the importance of control, accountability, and compliance within the bonded customs warehouse system. This regulation ensures na tanan goods kay properly na monitor and and ma-export siya according to the customs regulation. Now, let's tackle the section 10, 11, and 12. So this section, it highlights the important documents required for importation or efficient management of the customs bonded warehouse system. So starting with section 10, lodgement, filing, and processing of goods declaration for transfer of goods to CCBWs. Let's begin, diba, with section 10. So this section explains the documents needed when the transferring of goods to CCBWs or to CBWs. So there are two ways para mag-transfer o goods. First is through WSAD or Goods Declaration for Warehousing, and through TSAD or the Goods Declaration for Transit. First is the WSAD. So ang WSAD, it is used to record and track goods once they are inside the CBW. So ang TSAD, usually this is a document that is used for direct filing when the goods for warehousing is within is located or kanang ang goods is same siya or under siya sa same jurisdiction as the port of discharge. So aside from that, the basic requirements are included so the basic requirements kay bill of lading, WSAD invoice, packing list, and other necessary import permits. And ang second naman is the TSAD. So TSAD is used when TSAD, this document tracks and secures goods while in transit from the port to a warehouse located in a different customs jurisdiction. So once these transit goods arrive at their destination warehouse, after 5 days, kay dapat mag-file na pod og WSAD ang operator to officially admit them into the bonded status. So for section 11, withdrawal of bonded goods, so this part gina-cover niya ang procedures and documentations required when withdrawing bonded goods from the warehouse. For raw materials used in production, ang need niya na documentation is a requisition slip. So there is a requisition slip, nakalist diri tanan ang materials na dapat i-withdraw nimo. And for transfer naman to subcontractors, both requisition slip and a withdrawal form are required to describe the goods being transferred. So when raw materials naman are transferred from a CCBW to an accredited member, then the documentation that are required are such as the withdrawal form, transfer note, and production report are needed to ensure transparency and accountability. If bonded goods are sold to other accredited within the same CCBW or to free zone port locators, ang mga needed requirements or documentation are authority to sell, certificate of identification, sales contract, purchase order, and a constructive export approval. For free zone locators naman, PEZA form or katong 8105 with a customs EPZA warehousing entry is also required. So for finished products coming from manufacturing CBW, The documentation includes a transfer note or boat note, requisition slip, and withdrawal form. Meanwhile naman, for industrial CBWs, the documentation na kailangan kay authority to sell, sales contract, certificate of identification, and constructive export certificate. So finally, the section 12. So this section focuses on the direct exportation of bonded goods. So the necessary documents if mag export ka for direct export ka, bonded goods are certificate of identification, which is signed dapat by the customs examiner, EDSAD, and the basic documents like invoice, packing lists, and if applicable, pwede ka magpasa og export commodity clearance, license, or permit. And lastly, when the CBW and port of loading fall under different district collection, dapat ma-ensure nimo that all these documents are properly verified, lawfully processed, and efficiently transported under customs supervision. Now let's tackle the section 18, which is the suspension and closure of the CBW. So basically, this section explains the reason and the process kung nganong ma-close ang isa ka CBW and unsa ang need buhaton sa operator once a closure order is issued. So first, let's start with the grounds for closure. So a CBW may be closed by the district collector for several reasons. First, if the district collector if the operator themselves kay i-request nila na ipastop ang operation sa ilahang CBW, or if the situation calls for closure as provided under customs law. Second, if the warehouse files a renewal application that turns na naay false information. Then third, if the operator fails to file for renewal altogether. Also, CBW can also be closed if the warehouse is inactive for more than a year, meaning wala siya mga importation and exportation activities made within that time. So next, CBW can also be closed if the operator or any of its responsible officer knowingly kay pasagdaan nila ang warehouse to be used for illegal activities. So other violation includes like unauthorized relocation or layout changes, structural alterations without approval from the district collector, or using an extension warehouse without proper authority. So pwede na ipa-close sa atong district collector. The CBW may also be closed if there's any withdrawal of goods na wala properly processed using requisition slip or withdrawal form, or any kanang i-withdraw nimo ang important goods illegally without payment of duties and taxes. And lastly, mapa-close ang imuhang CBW if any violation of customs rules and regulations. Now, for the procedure naman for closure, once once ang imong CBWs kay na-ground siya for this violation and na-confirm siya, then the district collector will issue a closure order using the prescribed format, which is from the Annex N. And after that, the chief of the warehousing and the inventory division or any like authorized equivalent offices will immediately seal or close the CBW. So, pwede na nila padlakan ang imuhang CBW. And, but nga na nila mga customs guard na magbantay 24-hour sa imuhang CBW and expense. And, like, until ang imuhang kanang accountabilities are cleared. Then, upon the receiving of closure order, the CBW operator kay isurrender dapat nimo ang katong all books, records, and documents related sa pag-operate sa imuhang warehouse. And i-surrender ni nimo sa chief of the operating division. And next is the operating division will then conduct a complete inventory of everything sa sulod sa imuhang warehouse, including ang imuhang imported goods, raw materials, and goods in process, finished products, and even wastages. This inventory also include katong mga unliquidated WSADs nimo so that this way ma-ensure na ang tanan items is properly accounted for. Now, all inventories goods will then be turned over sa custody sa Bureau of Customs or sa collection district unless the duties and taxes have already been paid. While waiting naman for the turnover, the operator must shoulder the cost of the securing and maintaining the warehouse as I've mentioned earlier, and any warehouse supervision fees due at the time of closure kay dapat makollect na siya sa district collector, although fees already paid won't be refunded. So katong mga gibayaran na nimo na mga fees kay dili na siya ma-refund. Lastly, even after the closure, the operator and its accredited members is remain responsible for any outstanding liabilities and accountabilities arising from their operation. So all the accredited members and the operator kay liable pa rin sila to pay all their liabilities and accountabilities na kanang nag-arise during their operations. Now let's tackle the penalties, violation, and compliance. So first penalty if the diversion of banded goods. So if you diverted the banded goods, then the penalties will be closure of CBW. Meanwhile, the penalties for unauthorized withdrawal or transfer of goods to another CBW or free zone, you will face 3 offenses. So the first offense, second offense, and third offense. For the first offense, you will pay duties and taxes and other charges due on the goods withdrawn, and the surcharges of 50% of duties and taxes, custom fees, and charges found to be due and unpaid. For the second offense naman, payment of duties, taxes, and other charges due on the goods withdrawn, plus surcharges of 50% of duties, taxes, custom fees, and charges found to be unpaid or due, and also suspension of the CBW, or the suspension of the warehousing privileges for 6 months. Meanwhile naman, the third offense is that the third offense is that payment of the duties, taxes, and charges due on the withdrawn goods plus surcharges for 50% and 50% of the duties, taxes, custom fees, and charges found to be due and unpaid. And lastly, closure of the CBW. However, if where the withdrawal or transfer of the goods to another CBW or free zone is found attended with fraud, even if it is the first offense, then it shall pay duties, taxes, charges due upon the goods or withdrawn due on the withdrawn goods, and surcharges of 50% of duties, taxes, customs fees, and charges na found to be unpaid. And lastly, closure of the CBW. Now, if you relocate your CBWs unauthorized, then your penalty will be closure of CBW. Now, if there is a changes in your CBW's layout unauthorized, you will face at least 2 offense. First offense is suspension of warehousing privileges for 6 months. Second offense, if you are found nagibuhat nimo ni for the second time, then you will face the second offense, which is closure of CBW. Now, if your CBW has a structural changes and or has a extension warehouse unauthorized, then the first offense will be suspension of warehouse privileges for 6 months, and if you will be found doing it for the second time, then your penalties or offense will be closure of CBW. Now, for penalties of late filing of application for renewal of authority to operate shall be as follows. So for 61 to 90 days before expiration, validity of period to operate, so you will be paying 150,000 pesos. So from 31 to 60 days before expiration of the validity period of authority to operate, you'll be paying 200,000 pesos. So from 1 to 30 days before expiration, you will be paying 250,000 and suspension of privileges as CBW operator. So for penalty for late exportation, so 130 days from expiration. So if you're 1 to 30 days late, you will be paying 10,000 per entry. And if you're late for 31 and 45 days, then you will be paying 200 pesos per entry. Meanwhile, if you're late, if you're 45 days beyond late, then the goods will be deemed abandoned. Now, for the penalty for late submission of documents for liquidation of goods declaration for warehousing, 1 to 30 days upon the expiration of period to liquidate, the penalty will be 5,000 pesos, while 31 to 60 days upon the expiration of the period to liquidate, the penalty will be 10,000 pesos, while upon 61 to 90 days from expiration of the period to liquidate, the penalty will be 15,000 pesos. Lastly, beyond 90 days from the expiration of the period to liquidate, the penalty will be 20,000 pesos plus penal amount of bond. Meanwhile, for the penalty for late submission of documents for cancellation of warehousing bonds, from 31 to 60 days upon the expiration of the storage period, the penalty will be 5,000 pesos or 2% of the amount of bond, whichever is higher. Upon 61 to 90 days from the expiration of the storage period, the penalty will be 10,000 or 5% of the amount of bond, whichever is higher. Lastly, beyond 90 days from the expiration of the storage period, the penalty will be 15,000 plus 10% of the amount of bond. Lastly, any person who enters a CBW unlawfully removes their from any merchandise or baggage, or any person who receives or transports any merchandise unlawfully removes such warehouse or aids abet such removal shall be punished in accordance with the CMTA. And that's all. Thank you.